The world is buzzing once again, and it is not about politics, not about sports, and not about a fleeting celebrity scandal. It is about one of the most mysterious and awe-inspiring monuments of human history. The Hagia Sophia, a masterpiece that has stood for nearly 15 centuries, is finally revealing secrets that experts believed were forever lost to time. Imagine a building that has survived earthquakes, wars, fires, invasions, and centuries of religious transformation, and yet it still holds mysteries powerful enough to leave modern scientists stunned. What was hidden in its walls? What did ancient builders know that we are only beginning to understand today? Get ready, because experts have just solved secrets about the Hagia Sophia that will leave you speechless. The living symbol of two worlds, the Hagia Sophia is more than a monument. It is a living bridge between two great civilizations, the Christian Byzantine Empire and the Islamic Ottoman Empire. Constructed in 537 under Emperor Justinian, this church was intended to be the crown jewel of Christianity. Its massive dome, which seemed to float like a vision from heaven, symbolized divine power on earth. Yet centuries later, when the Ottomans conquered Constantinople in 1453, it became a mosque, with Islamic calligraphy, minarets, and mosaics blending with the Christian past. In 1935 it transformed again, this time into a museum under Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, and in 2020 it returned to its function as a mosque. With every shift, Hagia Sophia absorbed a new layer of identity. Today, as researchers uncover more about its hidden engineering and symbolism, it becomes clear that this monument is not simply a building. It is a living symbol of unity, struggle, and the endurance of culture across empires. The dome that should not exist. When experts first studied the Hagia Sophia's dome, they were baffled. How could such a massive structure, built in the 6th century without modern machinery or steel reinforcement, remain standing for nearly 1,500 years? The dome is 55 meters above the ground and spans 31 meters across. Ancient builders relied only on bricks, mortar, and ingenious geometry. For centuries, scholars debated how it defied gravity. Recent studies using laser scanning and 3D modeling reveal that the secret lies in the bricks themselves. Unlike typical heavy stone, the builders used lightweight bricks imported from Rhodes, some weighing less than half the weight of traditional materials. These bricks, combined with a mortar mixture that was more flexible than concrete, created a dome that could bend slightly without collapsing during earthquakes. It is a feat so advanced that modern engineers admit they would struggle to reproduce it without digital technology. The Dome of Hagia Sophia is a masterpiece that should not exist, yet it does, leaving even modern experts stunned. Earthquake engineering ahead of its time. Constantinople, now Istanbul, lies in one of the most active earthquake zones in the world. The Hagia Sophia should have crumbled centuries ago, yet it has survived dozens of powerful earthquakes that destroyed other structures. How? Scientists now believe the builders engineered the structure to resist seismic forces. The secret is in the base of the dome and the semi-domes surrounding it. Instead of building one heavy roof, they layered half-domes and arches that distributed the weight evenly. The mortar used was not rigid like modern concrete, but elastic, allowing the structure to absorb shocks. Recent ground-penetrating radar studies also revealed hidden chambers beneath the structure that act as shock absorbers, much like modern base isolation systems in skyscrapers. In essence, the Hagia Sophia was built with an earthquake-resilient system more than 1,000 years before scientists even developed the concept. The discovery shocked modern engineers, forcing them to reconsider how ancient builders understood the natural world. The mystical acoustics of Hagia Sophia. Step inside the Hagia Sophia, and one is immediately struck by the sound. The building's acoustics are unlike any other in the world. A single chant lingers for over 11 seconds, creating a heavenly echo that seems to descend from above. For centuries, worshippers believed the sound was divine. Priests said it was the voice of angels, while imams described it as a sign of spiritual presence. Modern scientists recently tested this phenomenon using digital acoustic mapping. The results revealed that the unique geometry of the dome and the reflective marble surfaces create sound waves that bounce in a perfect harmony. The builders designed it in such a way that the human voice seems magnified, creating an almost supernatural effect. This is not an accident. It was intentional. The architects, Anthemius of Tralles and Isidore of Miletus, were mathematicians as well as builders. They calculated every curve, every angle to create a sacred soundscape. The Hagia Sophia was not only a visual marvel, but also a sonic one, designed to make people feel they had stepped into another world. Hidden Christian mosaics behind Plaster. When the Ottomans converted the Hagia Sophia into a mosque in 1453, they covered many of the Christian mosaics with plaster and Islamic calligraphy, rather than destroying them. For centuries, these artworks remained hidden. In the 20th century, when restorers began carefully removing plaster, breathtaking mosaics of Christ, the Virgin Mary, and Byzantine emperors were revealed. But even today, experts are still uncovering more layers. Advanced imaging technology shows that beneath the surface, there may be even more mosaics, some depicting scenes lost to history. This blending of Christian and Islamic art makes Hagia Sophia unique, a place where two great religions coexist within the same walls. It also raises fascinating questions. Were the Ottomans intentionally preserving these images for history, or was it a matter of practicality? Either way, the Hagia Sophia has become a rare treasure chest of art from two civilizations, waiting to be fully uncovered. The secret symbols in stone. Researchers studying the Hagia Sophia have found strange carvings and inscriptions etched into the marble walls and columns. Some are prayers, some are names, and some are mysterious symbols. Viking runes, for example, were discovered inside the building, carved by Norse mercenaries known as the Varangian Guard, who served in the Byzantine army. One inscription reads, "Halfdan was here," marking the presence of a Scandinavian warrior in the heart of Constantinople. Other symbols appear to be coded messages left by stonemasons and builders, perhaps instructions or spiritual protections. Archaeologists believe some of these marks were intended to bless the structure against disaster, while others may reveal the secret guild traditions of Byzantine craftsmen. These symbols remind us that Hagia Sophia was not just built by emperors and architects, but also by countless anonymous hands whose personal marks remain hidden in the stone. The mysterious columns that heal among the many marvels of Hagia Sophia. One of the strangest is the so-called weeping column. Visitors have reported for centuries that this column appears damp, and touching it is believed to bring healing and good fortune. The column is wrapped in bronze, with a hole where pilgrims insert their fingers to seek blessings. Modern scientists tested the moisture and found it is not condensation, but groundwater seeping through micro cracks in the structure. Yet, what is truly mysterious is how this phenomenon occurs in only one column and has remained constant for centuries. The column has been tied to stories of miracles, from Emperor Justinian's headaches being cured to ordinary visitors feeling relief from ailments. Whether natural or mystical, this healing column adds to the Hagia Sophia's aura of mystery, making it a place where science and faith intersect. The secret of the Imperial Gate. The Imperial Gate of Hagia Sophia is one of its most enigmatic features. This grand entrance, once reserved only for emperors, is 7 meters tall and adorned with a mosaic showing Christ seated on a throne, blessing the emperor who kneels before him. But experts recently discovered something extraordinary about this gate. When restorers studied its wood panels, they found it was made from ancient oak believed to be more than 500 years old, possibly even older than the church itself. Some legends suggest the wood came from Noah's Ark, carried as a sacred relic to Constantinople. While historians cannot confirm such myths, carbon dating reveals the material was unusually old, hinting that builders deliberately used rare, ancient wood for symbolic purposes. The gate's position also aligns with celestial movements, suggesting its placement was carefully calculated. Every time an emperor entered through it, the symbolism was clear. He was stepping not only into a church but into a cosmic realm, bridging heaven and earth. Even today, visitors stand in awe of this gate, realizing it is not simply a doorway but a portal to a sacred world. The underground cisterns and tunnels beneath Hagia Sophia lies another world that most visitors never see. Archaeologists discovered hidden cisterns and tunnels running beneath the structure, some of which connect to the famous Basilica Cistern of Istanbul. These underground chambers supplied water to the Hagia Sophia and possibly acted as secret passageways during sieges. Legends speak of Byzantine emperors escaping invasions through these tunnels, disappearing into the labyrinth beneath the city. In recent years, divers have explored parts of these cisterns, finding pottery, tools, and even human remains. Some researchers believe treasures of the Byzantine Empire may still lie hidden below, protected by collapsed tunnels that have yet to be fully explored. These underground spaces are not only engineering marvels, but also add to the aura of mystery surrounding Hagia Sophia. They remind us that what we see above the ground is only half the story. Beneath the sacred structure lies a hidden underworld that has yet to fully reveal its secrets. The shifting colors of light, one of the most breathtaking experiences inside Hagia Sophia, is the way light transforms the building throughout the day. Morning sunlight pours in through its 40 windows at the base of the dome, creating the illusion that the dome is floating. At noon, golden rays reflect off mosaics, giving the interior a warm, divine glow. By evening, shadows stretch across the marble floors, turning the building into a place of quiet mystery. Experts recently studied how the architects achieved this effect, and they found that it was intentional. The windows were placed at specific angles to capture the sunlight in a way that emphasized the spiritual symbolism of light as the presence of God. The choice of marble was equally deliberate. Different colors and patterns reflect light in unique ways, making the building look alive. Visitors often describe the feeling as otherworldly, as if the building itself breathes with the rhythm of the sun. This is not simply architecture. It is a cosmic dance of light and stone that continues to inspire awe even after 500 years. The Enigmatic Marble Jar. Inside the Hagia Sophia stand two enormous marble jars, each carved from a single block of marble brought from Pergamon during the reign of Sultan Murad III in the 16th century. At first glance, they appear to be simple decorative pieces, but experts discovered they had a unique purpose. These jars were used to store water, and during large gatherings, they served as fountains from which hundreds of worshippers could drink at once. What stunned researchers is the precision with which these massive jars were carved. Each weighs several tons, yet the interiors are perfectly smooth and symmetrical, something that would have required advanced tools. How did Ottoman craftsmen manage this with 16th century technology? Some believe they were inspired by ancient techniques lost to time, while others think they may have rediscovered forgotten methods. The jars are not only functional but also symbolic, representing abundance and purity within the sacred space. Their presence adds another layer of mystery, reminding us that every corner of Hagia Sophia holds a story waiting to be told. The unfinished Seraphim faces high in the pendentives supporting the dome are mosaics of 6 winged angels known as Seraphim. For centuries, these faces were hidden behind golden stars and later by Ottoman coverings. When restorers uncovered them, they found something peculiar. One of the angels' faces was left unfinished. Why would Byzantine artists, who were known for their perfection, leave part of such a holy figure incomplete? Some scholars believe it was intentional, symbolizing the mystery of the divine, something humans could never fully depict. Others argue it may have been a result of rushed work after the dome's collapse and reconstruction in the 10th century. The unfinished Seraphim face continues to puzzle experts, leaving room for interpretations that blend theology, symbolism, and history. It is another reminder that Hagia Sophia is not only a place of answers, but also a place of enduring questions. The lost relics of Hagia Sophia. Throughout its history, Hagia Sophia was believed to house some of the most sacred relics of Christianity. Chronicles mention that the church once held the relics of the true cross, the lance that pierced Christ's side, and even the robe of the Virgin Mary. Pilgrims traveled across continents to see these holy items. But after the Crusaders sacked Constantinople in 1204, many of these treasures disappeared, taken to Western Europe. Some ended up in Venice, others in France, and some were lost forever. Recently, scholars have been piecing together the trail of these relics, trying to determine which may still be hidden in undiscovered chambers of Hagia Sophia. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed sealed spaces within the building that have yet to be opened. Could some of these missing relics still lie inside? The thought that hidden treasures of Christianity may still rest beneath Hagia Sophia fuels both historical research and spiritual imagination, making the monument even more mysterious. The mathematical genius of its architects, Anthemius of Tralles and Isidore of Miletus. The architects of Hagia Sophia were not ordinary builders. They were mathematicians, engineers, and visionaries. Anthemius was known for his studies of geometry and mechanics, while Isidore was a master of physics. Their knowledge allowed them to design a dome unlike anything seen before. Recent studies show that they employed advanced mathematical principles, such as using a system of hidden triangles and circles to distribute weight. The dome is not a perfect circle. It is slightly elliptical, which helps stabilize it. The columns supporting the structure are placed with millimeter precision, ensuring balance. These methods reveal a mathematical genius that was centuries ahead of its time. Many historians now argue that the Hagia Sophia was not only a religious monument, but also a scientific experiment, a bold attempt to test the limits of geometry and engineering in the ancient world. The ever-changing identity of Hagia Sophia. Perhaps the greatest mystery of Hagia Sophia is not its stones or mosaics, but its identity. Over 1,500 years, it has been a church, a mosque, a museum, and once again a mosque. Each transformation reflects the shifting powers of history. But despite these changes, the building has never lost its sacred aura. Visitors of every faith describe feeling overwhelmed by its grandeur. Christians see the mosaics of Christ and Mary, Muslims hear the echoes of the call to prayer, and historians see the layers of empires within its walls. Hagia Sophia is not a monument locked in the past. It is alive, adapting to every age, yet always remaining a symbol of the eternal search for the divine. Perhaps that is its greatest secret. It belongs not to one people, one faith, or one empire, but to all humanity. The dome that collapsed and rose again, the Hagia Sophia's dome that we see today, is not the original one, built in 537. Less than 20 years after its completion, a devastating earthquake struck Constantinople in 558, causing the dome to collapse. For many, it was a sign of divine anger, a message that humans had dared to build something too ambitious. But Emperor Justinian refused to let the vision die. He called upon Isidore the Younger, nephew of the original architect, to rebuild it. Instead of simply restoring the dome, Isidore redesigned it to be even higher and stronger. He used lighter materials, added ribs for support, and adjusted the curvature. The new dome was completed in 562, towering even more majestically than before. What is fascinating is that this dome, reconstructed almost 15 centuries ago, is the one that still stands today. The fact that it was rebuilt and has endured countless disasters since shows the brilliance of Byzantine engineering. It also demonstrates that Hagia Sophia is not only a product of divine inspiration, but also of human resilience. The forgotten doors of bronze and silver Hagia Sophia once held doors that were legendary in their beauty. Byzantine texts describe massive bronze doors adorned with silver and gold inscriptions gifted by emperors and wealthy patrons. One such entrance, known as the Beautiful Gate, was said to be covered in silver panels depicting scenes from the life of Christ. But when the Crusaders looted Constantinople in 1204, many of these treasures were stolen or melted down. Today, fragments remain, but much of their splendor has vanished. However, researchers recently discovered traces of gilding on some door fragments, proving that the accounts were true. Imagine stepping into Hagia Sophia when these doors gleamed in sunlight, an entrance so magnificent that it was meant to symbolize heaven itself. Even though most of them are lost, their memory continues to inspire. They remind us that Hagia Sophia was once a jewel of unimaginable wealth and beauty, not just in its architecture but in every detail down to its doors. The enigma of the marble floors. When visitors walk inside Hagia Sophia, few realize that the marble beneath their feet holds its own secrets. The floors are made from huge slabs of marble imported from across the Byzantine Empire, including Proconnesus, Thessaly, and even North Africa. These marbles were arranged in mirror-like symmetry, a technique called opus sectile. But the patterns are not random. They were deliberately chosen to create cosmic symbolism. Some slabs resemble swirling galaxies, others look like flowing rivers or fiery flames. Scholars believe these patterns were meant to represent the order of the universe, making the floor itself a map of creation. Another mystery lies in the wear of the marble. Centuries of worshippers have left grooves where they knelt or walked, and some of these grooves line up perfectly with processional paths described in ancient texts. This means the floor itself holds a memory of rituals that took place 1,000 years ago. The Hagia Sophia's floors are not simply stone. They are living witnesses of history, carrying the footsteps of emperors, priests, sultans, and ordinary believers. The minarets of the Ottomans. When the Ottomans conquered Constantinople in 1453, they transformed Hagia Sophia into a mosque. One of their most significant additions was the 4 towering minarets that now frame the building. At first, only a wooden minaret was erected, but later sultans built massive stone ones. These minarets were not only practical, used for the call to prayer, but also symbolic. They proclaimed Islam's victory in the city, once called the heart of Christianity. But the minarets were built with incredible skill. Sinan, the greatest Ottoman architect, reinforced Hagia Sophia by adding buttresses and aligning the minarets to balance the structure. In doing so, he not only preserved the building, but also gave it its iconic silhouette. Today, when one sees Hagia Sophia from the Bosphorus, it is impossible to imagine it without the minarets. They stand as a reminder that Hagia Sophia is not frozen in one era, but is an evolving monument that absorbed the marks of every empire that claimed it. The calligraphy of the sacred names inside Hagia Sophia, 8 enormous round medallions hang on the walls, each inscribed with Islamic calligraphy. They bear the names of Allah, the Prophet Muhammad, and the first 4 caliphs. These medallions, each almost 8 meters wide, were added in the 19th century by Sultan Abdülmecid. Designed by master calligrapher Kazakar Mustafa İzzet Efendi, they represent some of the finest examples of Ottoman calligraphy ever created. Their placement inside Hagia Sophia was intentional, blending with the Christian mosaics still hidden beneath plaster. Together, they created a unique dialogue between faiths. What fascinates experts is how these medallions were suspended without damaging the Byzantine structure. Using wooden frames and lightweight materials, craftsmen hung them in a way that could be removed without altering the original walls. This fusion of Christian and Islamic sacred art makes Hagia Sophia unlike any other monument in the world. It is not one religion erasing another, but rather layers of history speaking together in a single sacred space. The secrets of the upper galleries. Most visitors to Hagia Sophia remain on the ground floor, but the upper galleries hold stories just as fascinating. These galleries were once reserved for the Empress and the Imperial family, offering a view of the ceremonies below. The most famous mosaic in this section is the Deesis, showing Christ flanked by the Virgin Mary and John the Baptist, created during the 13th century. It is considered one of the greatest works of Byzantine art, with extraordinary emotion captured in the figures' faces. But beyond the mosaics, researchers have found graffiti etched into the gallery walls. One inscription, written in Old Norse, was left by a Viking guard, proving that warriors from the north once stood watch here. Other marks include prayers, names, and even architectural sketches drawn by builders. These small details transform the gallery into a space where emperors, artists, soldiers, and pilgrims all left their presence behind. The upper galleries remind us that Hagia Sophia was not just a monument to be admired, but a living, breathing center of human history. The Golden Age of Justinian, when Hagia Sophia was completed in 537, Emperor Justinian is said to have entered the church and cried out, "Solomon, I have surpassed you." He was comparing his creation to the Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem. This moment symbolized the peak of Byzantine ambition. The empire wanted to prove that it could outshine even the greatest monuments of antiquity. Justinian spared no expense, bringing marble from across the empire, gold from North Africa, and gems from the east. The dome, shimmering with mosaics of golden tiles, must have seemed like heaven itself. This golden age, however, was short-lived. Plagues, wars, and rebellions soon weakened the empire. Yet Hagia Sophia endured as a symbol of that fleeting brilliance. It is a reminder that empires may rise and fall, but their monuments can outlast them, carrying their memory into future centuries. The Hagia Sophia in modern times, in the 20th century, Hagia Sophia once again transformed when it became a museum in 1935 under the orders of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. For the first time, both Christian mosaics and Islamic calligraphy could be viewed together, making it a symbol of shared heritage. Millions of visitors from around the world walked its halls, marveling at its dual identity. In 2020, however, Hagia Sophia was reconverted into a mosque, sparking debates worldwide. For some, it was a return to its Ottoman legacy. For others, it was a loss of its museum identity. Yet, despite the controversy, the Hagia Sophia remains open to visitors, and its mysteries continue to draw global fascination. This ongoing transformation proves that Hagia Sophia is not frozen in history, but continues to play a role in modern culture, politics, and religion. It is a monument that never stops being relevant.